When out filming and searching for fresh tracks, I try to add new locations, new seasons, different species. Things to interest me and you, the viewer. Opportunities for some species are extremely scarce, and some being so rare, you seldom see them on TV. But that's exactly what's happening right now.
This hunt here is probably the most rare opportunities that exist in all of North America. It's the chance to hunt free-range bison in Montana. What we're doing is we're going to be hunting bison the summer in Yellowstone National Park, winter in Montana. And this year they gave away 44 either sex permits for this unit and another unit northeast of here. And I was one of the lucky 10 that drew for this late season. And it is definitely a rare opportunity.
The iconic North American bison, the symbol of the American frontier, that in the late 1800s went from massive shaggy oceans, covering most of the Great Plains, to near extinction. Though still relegated to isolated corners of their original range, bison numbers are stable. These small habitats, dictated by social tolerance and political compromise, are now at carrying capacity, giving hunters very limited opportunity to chase these magnificent animals.
Hunting bison is one of those things I've wanted to do since I was old enough to know that bison existed. They are the icon of all wildlife in North America. And now, genetically pure bison are relegated to small, isolated little herds throughout the United States.
My goal in this episode of Fresh Tracks is twofold. As always, we want to take you along on this rare hunting opportunity. But I also want to share some history of the bison themselves, a story of politics and controversy, a clash of values, seemingly endemic to all wildlife restoration efforts.
One of the problems that we have in Montana, actually anywhere around Yellowstone Park, is that bison contracted a disease from cattle called brucellosis. Now that most of the cattle have been vaccinated against brucellosis, the bison are a transmission vector to give that disease back to the cattle. And it creates a political firestorm, and unfortunately, the bison is right there in the crosshair through no fault of their own. And the ability for them to expand their range, to go to other places in Montana, is really, well, it's compromised. It's very difficult to do. Well, Matt, there's motorized traffic and this is where the hunting starts, right?
That's right. It's the end of the road for the snowmobiles.
It's very fitting that my buddy Matt Clyde is with me on this adventure. It was just a year ago when Matt and I filmed the first ever televised wolf hunt in the lower 48.
We did it.
Congratulations, Matt. You made an amazing shot.
Thank you.
Matt's as good as they get when it comes to spotting big game. Plus, his young legs, his strong back, and his boundless enthusiasm will be of great benefit if we get a 1-ton bison on the ground.
Well, Matt, this entire floodplain area here is all non-motorized, and that's kind of the area where the bison, when they do migrate out, they just follow this all the way.
Yeah. I think it's going to be some deep snow, heavy hiking through there, but I think a good plan would be to go down here and hike through it and check just to see if any tracks have been coming back and forth, and then kind of go check down by the park line later today.
So Matt and I are pretty excited to write our own small chapter in the history book of American bison hunting. On the snowy ridges above the Madison River where it leaves Yellowstone National Park, Matt Clyde and I are fulfilling a lifelong dream. We're scouting free-range bison, hoping to locate a big bull for the season opener tomorrow morning. We won't be using snowmobiles on the actual hunt, but they sure come in handy when scouting all this snow-covered country, especially when we only have one day to do it.
I didn't see a track or a trail that I could tell for sure was a bison.
No, there's just lots of tracks, but with the snow blowing in it and everything else.
Pretty old. I think we might have to go back that way where the locals said they all migrated back across the boundary. See if we can find anything over that direction.
Yeah, I agree.
Surprisingly, we don't have a lot of ground to cover. My tag restricts us to a relatively small area on the western border of Yellowstone National Park, along the Madison River, just north of the town of West Yellowstone. A small area of political tolerance for this massive migratory animal. This confinement is especially shocking when you study where bison once roamed. Historically, the bison inhabited nearly all of North America, stretching from California to New York, from Mexico way up to northern Canada. Today, brucellosis politics restricts wild bison herds to only a handful of small pockets across the West.
The cattle industry ends up bearing pretty much all of the financial costs related to the bison brucellosis disease. It's a bunch of archaic old rules that I disagree with. I have a lot of empathy for the landowners and the ag producers who are subject to those rules and what brucellosis does as far as imposing other costs on them. But I'm a hunter. As a hunter, we restore species. We make species more abundant. And that's not what's happened with bison. Bison continue to be confined to smaller and smaller areas, lower and lower population objectives. That's not the story of wildlife in North America. Well, right here is just about the park boundary right there, so.
Yeah.
We don't have a permit to snowmobile in the park, so I guess it's
There's a bunch of tracks going down through here. You can see that heading back into here.
Yeah. Well, supposedly they follow the Madison River all the way out of the park.
I'll be dang, there they are.
Yeah.
What's that, about 400 or 500? Yeah, 500 probably into the park line.
Probably.
Yeah.
The boundary goes kind of right like that. They're at least 400 or 500 yards over there, right on that big bend in the river. Huh. Well, that's a good sign.
Yeah. That's the biggest hurdle, is finding them at this point, to be honest with you.
The bad news is there's this big no hunting Yellowstone National Park sign between us and them.
Well, I can definitely see at least 3 bulls.
See one that's got a collar on it.
Yeah.
Huh.
That one's a cow.
I would bet that those 2 big ones and probably that other one right beside them there, I'd bet any money those are bulls. They just have a really big hump and body size. They're a good chunk bigger than all the rest of them.
Yeah.
We've located a healthy herd of bison with a handful of worthy bulls. But right now, the park boundary makes them off limits. Yet, it's all we've got at this point, and I can only hope that these migratory beasts decide to head our direction come morning. It's the opening morning of my lifelong dream, a free-range bison hunt. I'm hunting bison outside the western border of Yellowstone National Park in southwest Montana. As the sun peaks on this cold morning, Matt, Clyde, and I are back near the park boundary where we left a group of bison the night before.
I can see at least 5 or 6 more in there.
That sign right there is the unit boundary. I don't dare go the other side of that sign. Bison. Right here. Right here, we're right on the property boundary. There's a big cut going through the trees right behind us. The bison are about 100 yards, if that, to that side of the boundary. I want them about 100 yards on this side of the boundary.
The way they're feeding here, look at them right now. They're already turned coming down this way.
They were way down there about 500 or 600 yards, so they're coming this way.
Stood there, I don't know, probably half hour, and all of a sudden something spooked one of those bison down there. And she ran across this little arm of the river and came straight up this bank. I mean, it's a steep bank, and it's only, where she comes out is about 150 yards away from us. And all of a sudden, here comes the rest of the herd.
Bison are a political hot button. Hunting them includes unusual challenges that you're probably never going to face on any other hunt. The biggest being the likelihood that you'll have an audience.
Here comes a group of people from a bison advocacy group called the Buffalo Shield Campaign, and they're nice enough people. They just come here and monitor and watch the bison and see what happens. And so they were standing there right on the park boundary watching these bison, and I'm thinking to myself, man, this is turning out to be exactly what I don't want.
Makes for an interesting situation. They're going to get up on this bench and they're going to come right here across the boundary. That's their normal pattern. And then I'm left with the decision of, do I want to shoot one in front of an audience or not?
While I knew being watched and filmed by others was a distinct possibility on this hunt, I had hoped to avoid this circus. But as the herd reached the top of the bank, they turned and started moving along their seasonal trails, and in a matter of minutes, we were face to face with grunting, migrating bison.
Here comes some bison. I have a rifle, I have a tag. Everything is legal. I can shoot a bison as quick as he steps out of the boundary. But it's not what I wanted. So I pulled my rifle back. I actually lean it against a tree and I tell the camera and I tell Matt, I said, you know what? We're just gonna stand here and watch. And the observers, I'm sure, were convinced I was gonna shoot a bison right there. But that's not a hunt. That's not at all any type of pursuit. It's not my vision of what this species deserves.
This is the element of bison hunting that is, well, it's foreign to the big game hunter. It's how these animals evolved fearing nothing, not even people. Bison evolved as the biggest, baddest dudes on the continent. No reason to fear anything. As such, when they migrate, it's deliberate and methodical, no matter what's in their path. For now, we have to look at bison hunting as our chance to participate in the management of these wonderful animals, to advocate for them as wildlife, not livestock. But still, I refuse to shoot one in front of an audience if I can help it. I've spent years wishing I could turn back the clock and hunt the historic American bison. It's hard to believe it's really happening. And on the first morning, we find ourselves surrounded by bison. But being so close to the park boundary and having a group of observers with questionable intent filming my every move, I let the herd pass so Matt and I can chase them into a non-motorized area, giving more sense of the kind of hunt I'd hoped for. Now, Matt and I have picked up the trail in hopes of getting away from all the attention and finding a good bull.
Yeah, he's definitely the prettiest one of any of them we've seen. And there aren't any really old bulls. So.
But crazy. They all huddle up. They know which one I pick out, and then they all huddle around him. None of these are huge bulls, but given how few have been out of the park and the fact that the tribe will come down and start hunting these again, which will probably push them back out of here, I'm going to shoot one of these today.
Eventually, we got pretty close to the herd, which I wanted to do to ensure a clean and humane kill, paramount with folks likely watching and filming me from a distance. But bison habits can create a lesson in frustration. The bison evolved by herding up in the face of danger. And every time I get an open shot on the bull that I want, the herd tightens up, obstructing my shooting lane to the bull that I've picked out.
What do you think about this, Randy? What do you think about going in around and just kind of getting out in front of them and trying to let them walk by us again?
Yeah. When he picks up his head, I can tell.
Yeah, he's way shaggier. That cow's just about ready to clear. He's clear if you have a clear shot.
Running, Brad?
Yep, he's with his head down, right? Yep.
Yep. Got pine cones right in the way of his heart. Don't let him move a step to the right. You see that dead tree there?
Oh.
Good that they do. I gotta move
Right there?
Yeah.
You ready, Brad?
Yep.
Brett,
Which one is he in the
he's
back?
in the very back now. Hammer him again.
Standing looking at us?
Yep. Shoot him again. Take any chances. Oh. He's about to tip over, I think. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You have yourself an awesome Montana bison, my friend. Awesome job, man. That is cool.
All you're thinking about is heart, 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 and low, 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 low. I know both those shots are right exactly where they need to be.
I could start seeing a little blood there, so I was pretty sure that it was looking pretty dang good.
Pretty easy to find him, Matt.
Yeah. There he is, the big old fella. Holy smokes.
Wow. What an amazing animal.
Holy cow. Congratulations, man. That is unbelievable. Awesome.
Thanks.
Awesome hunt.
Thank you, Mr. Bison. Thank you, thank you. I wish there were more bison in more places that would be real free range kind of hunts like we do.
I agree. This is one of the coolest animals in North America, and man, it'd really be nice to have more opportunity to be able to hunt them.
Yeah.
Just have more of them.
Anyone who gets to come and do this, I can promise you, you will be an advocate for wild bison after you do this. Guaranteed. But now, the busy work.
Yep. We
Lots
do have
of
some of that.
About 1,200 pounds of it, I would guess.
Yep.
Or more.
I know some may watch this and they're gonna think, man, that wasn't much of a hunt, at least in the pure sense of the word. I do know this. The bison's future is brightest when hunters advocate on their behalf. When we get involved and we make a difference like we have with all the other game species. Of all the groups interested in bison, hunters are the one group who can bring about political pressure and bring forth solutions. Solutions to benefit the ag producer, benefit the hunter, but mostly to the benefit of bison and bison expansion. Sportsman involvement has to start somewhere. And right now, that somewhere are these limited bison hunts that serve the purpose to vest hunters in the cause of the bison. I'm never gonna forget this hunt, for many reasons. Mostly, I hope it's a small step in returning this animal to a portion of its former glory. And in the process, maybe we can help create more bison hunting opportunities for those of you watching, those of you who will follow in our fresh tracks.